Okay, Mom, tell me about high school. And also tell me in high school, to let the future generations kind of understand what the norms were in high school. In other words, what were some of the things that you possessed in high school? Like, I'll give you an example. Today, kids possess a backpack, a cellular phone, a digital Walkman. These are things that are not only fads, but they're personal and business tools for kids because it helps them communicate all these different things. What in high school, when you were growing up, did everybody have and did everybody use?
Pencil sharpener?
We had a pencil sharpener and pencils. We didn't have very much, Leland. But when I started high school, we went on the bus, the Church Avenue bus, the Cortelia Road bus took us to Flatbush Avenue, where Erasmus Hall High School was. And most of my time in high school was in music. I was in a couple of music clubs, and I was singing in high school, and I was also selected to be a soloist for the do you remember the name?
All City Choir?
All City High School Choir. And we used to go to the library, and I used to walk a lot with my brother Sidney and my cousin Alvin and Stanley. We used to walk to the Cortelia Road Library, and also we opened a bank account, so it meant every week we went and walked to the Church Avenue, Beverly Road exit to deposit our dollars in the bank accounts.
What did you get for allowance per month or per week? What was your stipend, and what did you have to do to get it?
Okay, well, I don't remember getting an allowance. I remember babysitting at 50 cents an hour, so I would earn about $2 a week, which was my allowance.
And who'd you babysit for?
For neighbors who, or ladies or people on the street.
Well, what about you, Dad? What did you do for allowance, or how did you make money before your music career? Or was your allowance, or did you not have an allowance and just went right to music career?
Well, I think I got a small allowance, but there wasn't much I had to do for it, as I recall. I was a helpful kid. I guess I helped Mom set the table for dinner or whatever. But when I was about 10, 11, 12, I told you about the drugstore job. I also delivered at the fruit store, vegetable store job. I also delivered clean clothes from the clothes cleaners, and sometimes worked the big iron to help out. And I was paid, I think, at 25 cents an hour for that. And then I became at one point I became a Saturday Evening Post magazine boy, and I sold people in the neighborhood on the Saturday Evening Post for 5 cents. 5 cents a week for the magazine, and I think I was able to keep 2 cents out of that and had to give 3 cents to the distributor.
Now, real quick, I want to interrupt you. Let's talk about that for a second. Money. Back then, a paper was how much on the street?
Probably 3 cents, 2 cents.
We're talking about 1945, 1946. Yeah. How much was it?
2, 3 cents.
Okay, Mom, how much was a gallon of milk? Or do you remember?
I don't remember.
What about gasoline prices?
Well, we didn't have cars, we wouldn't even know.
They never were shown? Like you didn't walk by a gasoline gas station and there was postage?
But I can't remember what it was.
It was 16, 18 cents a gallon because when I came out to California, they had gas wars in the 50s that were down to 22, 23 cents a gallon.
When Daddy and I were married, we paid $1 for 3 gallons of petrol.
Oh my gosh.
Sure.
Okay, let's skip the high school, go to what you guys both did after high school before you met. Dad, tell me about your job that you had when you met Mom.
Well, I don't know how many memory cards you had here, but you skipped my whole high school music career, summers. And that was significant because I couldn't believe it. And if you look around today, can you imagine how many people would let their 14-year-olds go away to a summer resort and play in a band? The kids today seem, from an adult standpoint, to be so young. But,
Immature.
yeah, Mom and Dad thought I was mature enough to do that, so starting when I was 14 and a half, I worked summers up at in the Catskills, the Jewish Catskills, the Borscht Belt. So that was before I went into service and went to work for the insurance company.
Okay, well, I'm skipping that. I'll get back to the service, but tell me real quick, when you met Mom, what were you doing? What was your job? Tell who you were with, what firm, and what brought you out to meet Mom.
Well, I was with the insurance company, Pacific Mutual Life Insurance Company, and at the time I was doing office management training work. We had a section that did that, and we sent one of us out during vacation periods at a number of the one-girl offices that we had. So when I met Mom, I was doing 2 weeks of office manager relief in Hartford, and I came into New York a couple of evenings to see friends, and on one of them, Bernie Stone, who was our best man, introduced me to Mom on a blind date.
And Mom, what were you doing when you met Dad on that blind date? What firm were you with? Describe what you were doing, and when you met Father.
Okay, I was with Dynamic Films, and I was doing television commercials and industrial films. And Daddy's friend, Bernie Stone, was our editor at that time. And I got to see the films that we were recording, and I became fascinated with the brick, what do you call it?
The Brickyard.
The Brickyard,
Indianapolis.
the Indianapolis Speedway. And as a matter of fact, Daddy and I later on went to Indianapolis to participate in touring the Speedway. And when I met Daddy, Bernie Stone, who was the editor, said to me he wanted me to go out with his friend Steve because I was a musician, he thought, and he knew Steve was a musician, and he thought we would have a lot in common. So I went out with Daddy, but I went out with Daddy because I didn't want the film I had just done to be on the cutting room floor, which was what Bernie said. If you don't go up, your film will be on the cutting room floor. So it was kind of a bribe. And anyway, and the thing is, I had gone out the week before on a blind date with a fellow who I had not met previously, who worked for a television station, and I had sold him the 50 films for the television, which they show today, from Columbia Pictures, or maybe United Artists, I don't remember now which. But I was selling the film library that the company I was with had at that time.
All right.
So anyway, I did not have a good time. And I had said I wouldn't go out on a blind date anymore.